it is okay to ask for it. He is not a witch. I have to tell him what I want. It's the fact that I know my mom is going to watch this video. Sister Mary, you did not used to do like this, right? So we had this panel session in church on Sunday, and it was all about marriages and, sexuality within marriage and all of that. And this elderly woman, definitely in her 50s, maybe her 60s even, she stood up and she was like, you know what? One of the reasons why African women, especially African women who were raised back in Africa, one of the reasons why they struggle so much in their marriages is because they were raised not to be confident in their sexuality. They were raised a certain way, right? However, that's not the way it is. And that got me thinking, this is definitely a conversation we should have, right? Number one, your appetites won't always match. They might even never match. And that is okay. Men typically have a higher libido because they don't have to do a lot of work. They are like sight-based, right? So they see, they're ready to go. They see, they're ready to go, right? But women, because it requires so much twists and turns, so much work, so much intentionality to get us into that headspace, we don't always walk around in, a state where, we are constantly ready to go, right? But what I've noticed is most women get married and they're surprised by how much their husband wants them. We are different beings and different things work for us, different things put us in that place. So learning all about that and having a better understanding actually helps me understand that, okay, it's not like there is anything wrong with me. It's not like there is anything wrong with him. It's that it works differently for both of us, and we just have to find a way to make it work. In some situations, it could also be that it's the woman that has a higher appetite. That happens as well, right? It could be that the woman has a higher appetite compared to the man, and she's the one that's like constantly, wanting it and all of that. And then the man is starting to look at her like that, like, Sister Mary, you did not used to do like this, right? When you are leading choir in church, I did not know that this is how I used to do. No, there is absolutely nothing wrong. Well, I shouldn't say absolutely, but because there are, exceptions, there are always exceptions. But all things being equal, there is most likely nothing wrong with Sister Mary. She just has a higher appetite compared to the man, and there's nothing wrong with that. And all that needs to be done is to find a middle ground. Number two, he is not a witch. I have to tell him what I want. This was something I had to learn. And, especially with someone, again, like I said, African lady raised back in Africa, raised in a certain way, we are not like, your sexuality isn't encouraged, right? So you get into marriage, especially, if you get married as a virgin, and you're having to learn that, wait, I have to tell you. But yes, you have to tell me what you want. I'm not a witch. I cannot read your mind. I don't have superpowers. You have to tell me what you want, and I have to tell you what I want. Now, listen, it sounds easier said than done, especially when you're in the zone and you're in the mood, because you expect that, wait, especially in the movies, inside film, they used to just do no, this isn't film. This is reality, okay? You have to say what you want and be very clear about it. Now, it's not like you should go insulting the person. It's not like you should say it in a very rude way or in a very, there are ways to have this conversation, especially if it's something you're trying to say whilst in the zone. However, if the act is ongoing and you're wanting a specific thing, then, help him, help her realize that, you want that thing. And how do you do that? By saying it, can you do this? Can you do that? Do it this way. Do it like there's a lot of talking involved. A whole lot more talking than I anticipated. And this is coming from someone that talks a lot, and you have to be comfortable with talking. Number three, ovulation is gangster. Yes. Listen, ovulation is ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Ovulation is a different level. So if your regular appetite is like a 5 over 10, maybe that's like your normal appetite. When you're ovulating, you're probably like on a 12 or a 15, so maybe even a 20. Do you understand? During that ovulation period. And that's because it is your body it's not even your mind now. It's not because you feel like it. It's not because your mind is telling you to get it. It's not because you saw something that's putting you in the mood. It's because scientifically, biologically, it is time for your body to receive. That's just the way God created us, okay? There ain't nothing you can do about it. But this is something I had to learn, like read about and understand and time my ovulation. Okay, when am I ovulating? How long does it last for? You know, what happens during ovulation? You know, like there are just, you start to understand your body a whole lot more. I personally, I have like a period tracker, ovulation tracker. You know, you have to use all of these things to help you, especially if maybe you're trying to have kids or you're not trying to have kids. You know, you have to know what is going on with your body. So if you find yourself acting a little bit extra during a particular time of the month, especially maybe a couple of days after you got off your period, then sis, ovulation, okay? And to the gentlemen out there who are watching, or maybe you're going to send this to your husband as well, if you find her being a little bit extra, you know, acting as if she's in hits, ovulation. Number 4, ignore movies and what you see out there, okay? Sometimes you might need additional lube. That is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. I've even worked with a brand recently, KY Gel, yes, on Instagram, and they had this, you know, lube for him and for her as well. This was something I had to learn very early in our marriage. I think I've talked about it as well. Yeah, I have an old video on the channel where I talked about like wedding night and what to expect and all of that. And lubrication was one of the things I mentioned because it was something I had to learn. So lubrication, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. It just helps make things easier. If you're not trying to have kids and, you know, you're using, you know, protection, you know, then that is great because especially if he's using protection, then, you know, that comes with additional lubricant as well. And it helps just makes the place more comfortable because that place is designed to, you know, be very easy to access. And if it is not easy to access, then it becomes painful. And if it's painful, then it is not enjoyable. Unless, of course, you belong to another category of people, which we are not talking about in this video, right? If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. So back to the point, lubrication is okay. Look for good ones out there. There are some that are water-based, there are some that are not water-based. You know, look for what works best for your body. Number 5 is that your mood is going to affect things a whole lot, especially as a woman. As I mentioned earlier, right, for men, they're like soldiers, you know, go, come, up, down. It's like, there is no in between for them. Most times they're just like, you know, but for women, and I remember my husband and I had this conversation just after church on Sunday, really, we were talking about what was discussed in church. And one of the things I mentioned to him was, I was like, listen, you know, a broke man is still gonna want to do it because it's, even a poor man wants to do it. Do you understand? Because for them, it doesn't require a lot, right? But for women, you know, if you're upset, you are angry, you're tired, you're broke, you had a bad day at work, you know, there are just so many factors. You have children that you are taking care of all day that were stressing you out. There are so many things that will affect your mood as to whether you end up being in that headspace or not. And what you'd realize is that if you're not in that headspace, then you're not well lubricated down there, right? Versus if you are in the right headspace, then it becomes very easy. So the lower part works a lot with your brain and what is going on in your head. And there is nothing wrong with you, you know, if you feel like you're not always in the mood. Your personal mood affects things a whole lot. Number 6, there is no romance without finance, okay? One of the speakers in our church actually said it very well. She was like, you know, you have to love women into it. if you want to do it at night, you should have started working on it since morning. You can't insult her in the morning, hit on her in the afternoon, dampen her mood in the evening, and midnight you're now telling her, oh, my wife, my lovely. It doesn't work like that. Even for makeup sex as well. It doesn't work like that. For the woman, there's a lot of, romance required, and romance comes with money, right? So flowers and good dinner, feet rub, or body massage, just things that relaxes her mind, so that when you just do like this, she's just like, oh my Lord. Number 7, it is okay to ask for it. It is very much okay to ask for it. And this is especially for the women, because most women can be conservative and self-conscious, and they don't want to be perceived in a manner, in a way, Let me talk to the gentlemen that might be watching. There is nothing wrong with her asking for it. The fact that she's constantly asking of it or for it doesn't make her, it doesn't make her a bad girl. Now, some women would withdraw the moment they realize that when they're asking for it, their husbands aren't picking up on the signals, because most women aren't going to say, oh yeah, come and do, right? Because they're conservative, they're not that, assertive and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's just their style. Some women are a bit more forward, a bit more aggressive. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. They be more vocal with bros. Oh yeah, let's go there. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's their style, right? But some women, the moment they give you a signal, one signal, two, and you're not picking up on it, they're just going to withdraw into themselves, and then they'll just get to that point where they don't ask for it and they just wait for the husband to be the one to initiate it. I actually think it's actually quite sexy. It's quite interesting when, the woman can also be the one, saying, come here, let me do something. It's the fact that I know my mom is going to watch this video. It is that fact. Number 8, it is okay to laugh about it. It's okay, and that actually reduces the tension, especially even when you're in the act. Do you get what I'm saying? Even when you're in the middle of it, it's okay to laugh. It's not every time that you're strong-faced. It's not such a serious. It's not an exam. It's not like jam or egg. And the thing is, you're gonna do it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So laughing about it helps you be more comfortable with each other, helps you, just relax with each other better, and just helps make the whole experience more enjoyable. And obviously, if you're able to laugh about it, then you're also able to talk about it and have conversations about it and say, oh, how about maybe we should do it this way, maybe we should do it that way, So be comfortable enough with each other that you can laugh about it, even when it doesn't seem to be going well, even when it's starting to look messy. Do you get what I'm saying? Number 9, you can like something today and not like it tomorrow. That was something I had to learn as well. That was something I wish I knew. You think you already know yourself. You think you already understand your sexuality. But as a woman, especially, your body is constantly changing. Your body is constantly going through different hormonal issues, different hormonal experiences, childbirth, prenatal, first trimester, second trimester, ovulation, you're on your period. There are just so many things going on with us as women that you can absolutely enjoy something today and you're like all of that, and tomorrow you find yourself not really into that thing. That is okay. And your spouse, your husband needs to understand that you know what, yes, you did it yesterday and I said I don't want today. I don't want it, I don't like it again. That is okay, because the body is changing, that is affecting the mind, and that is affecting what we find pleasurable and what we don't. Number 10, last but definitely not the least. Before I tell you, have you subscribed to the channel? If you haven't, please do so right now. And if you haven't already, and also, thumbs up the video as well. If you haven't already, please do so right now. And drop a comment in the comment section. What works for you? What was something about sex that you learned that had to be like an aha moment for you, if you have something like that? Or what's something that you practice that you think others can learn from? You know, let's talk in the comment section, okay? All right, so my number 10 is that you should forget movies, forget Hollywood, forget K-drama, forget Nollywood, forget all the woods, okay? Focus on your spouse. Focus on your spouse. Film is staged, okay? It's not reality. We staged it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's staged. And even as a filmmaker, I've worked on a couple of intimate scenes, so I can confidently tell you that it is staged, okay? It is rehearsed, it is practiced, you know, where are the cameras going to be? Where are you going to touch? What are you going to say? All of that, that's not reality, you know? That's, you know, romance. That's just to help your imagination. Focus more on what works for your husband, focus more on what works for your wife, focus on what works for both of you. Can you take ideas from those things? Absolutely. But the most important people are the two of you. Okay? Every other thing, they're noise. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was value for your time. Again, drop a comment, subscribe, and like the video if you haven't already done so. I pray God blesses you, your homes, your marriages, your relationships. Most importantly, I pray God blesses you. Remain in God and God bless you. Mwah. Bye.